Okay, in this assignment, you're not actually adding the fractions. You're trying to get the fractions to match and have equal denominators. Okay, that's a rule for adding. That's a skill you're going to have to utilize. So I need a common denominator. Doesn't have to be the lowest common denominator, just a common denominator. So this is how we do this. You look at your bottoms. You don't care what's on top. You have a 2. I'm going to underline that. You have a 5. Now I have another 5, but since I've already written that, don't repeat yourself. And then a 3. And then a 3, 3, and 5. So now I have all the factors accounted for. So 2, I have one factor of 2 there. I don't have any there, so 0. Raise them up so that they both have one factor of 2. Not hard to do. You just go to the one here. You already have it there, so times 2. Now when you bring that new one in, you also have to times it on top. Okay, so 5. I have 2 factors of 5 here, and I have 1 here. So make it so they both have 2. So this one has 2, this one needs another 1, and then it has 2. Okay, 3. I have 1 and 2. Raise it so they both have 2. So you got your 2 on that one to make, and then you put another one. And now you also have to bring that on top. Now the common denominator, CD, circle one of your bottoms. It doesn't matter which one. Okay, they're both the same. So I take 2 times 5 times 5 times 3 times 3. That's 450. That would be your common denominator there. Okay, that's pretty much all you do on this part. It's going to get more complicated here in a bit. Okay, so you have a 5, an 11, then more 5s, another 11, then a 2. Don't repeat it. 5, I have one factor here. I have 2 here. Well, that means we need to raise this one up so it has 2. So times 5 times 5. Okay, then 11. You have 1 and 1. That's good. When they have equal amounts, you leave it 2, 0, and 1. Okay, so we need them both so they have 1. So times 2 times 2. Now they match. They might be out in a different order, but they still match. So the common denominator, 5 times 11 times 5 times 2 gives me 550. Okay, next one. Common denominator. So you have 3, and then a bunch more 3s, then 2, another 2, and then a 13. So 3s, you have 1, 2, 3. Then you have 0 factors of 3. Okay? So you need to make it so they both have 3 factors of 3. So this doesn't have any. So you better get in gear. Times 3 times 3 times 3. Okay, now we're good. You also have to bring that on top so that the fraction maintains its value. Then 2, you're at 1 and 1, so that's good. I don't need to mess around there. Now 13, 0 and 1. So we need them both so they have 1. So times 13, and also that would be multiplied on top. Now the bottoms match, so I just multiply one of them. Not the whole thing, just one of them. 702. Okay, common denominator, 2, 3, 2 again, and then 11. So 2's, I have 2 here, and I have 1 here. We need to make it so they both have 2. Okay, so that already has 2. This one here, you need to put another 2 here. It doesn't matter where you put it. Okay, 3, 1 and 0. So we need them both so they have 1. So times 3. Doesn't matter where you put it, front end, back end. 11, 0, and 1. Okay. So, whoops. I usually write the words down. Okay. So 1 is what we raise it to. So we already have the 1 here, so this is the one that needs to be adjusted. Then circle one of your 2. 2 times 2 times 3 times 11. 132 would be the common denominator. Okay, same thing here. You have 2s and 3s. 2 and 0. Okay, so we need to get them so they have 2. So this one already has 2, so this is the one we adjust. So I need 2 of them. Okay, then 3. 1 and 1. So that's good. It's already good, so we're good. Okay, 2 times 2 times 3 is 12. Common denominator would be 12. Okay, common denominator. You have 2, 7, 2, and 13. So we have 2, 7, and 13. So 2's, you have 2, and then 1. So we need them both to have 2. So this one has 2. This is the one I need to adjust. I just need to add another factor of 2 there. Remember, if you bring a new one on top, you get bottom, you got to bring it on top. 7, you got 1 and 0. Okay, 1. So this has its 1. This needs another 1 to make that. 13, 0 and 1. Okay, so get this. This has its 1. This is the one I need to adjust. Okay, so now the bottoms match completely, and you find the product. Okay, 364. Okay, common denominator here, and you have 3, 3, 2, 5, 2, so it's 3, 2, and 5. So 3's, we have 2 and 0. So we need to raise that so it has 2. So this has 2, this one. This doesn't count, okay? It's on top. It's the bottom that needs 2 3's, okay? 2 3's. So times 3 times 3 times 3 times 3. Now we got 2 and 2. Matt, good. 2, we have 1 and 1. So if it's 1 and 1 already, if it's the same already, that's good. Now 5, 0 and 1. Okay, so you need 1 in each one. You need the higher amount. Okay, so that's the one that has 0. So you times 5 times 5. Circle one of your bottoms. 3 times 3 times 2 times 5 is 90. So the common denominator is 90. Okay, 2's, 3's, and 5's. So 2's, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 1. So we want them both to have 5. Well, that has 1, so I need to times 2, and I'll just do more in the front. Now they have 5, but then you need to multiply every time you bring a new one in on top. What you do to bottom, you got to do to the top. 3, you got 2, and then 1. You need them both to have 2. So this has 2. That has 1. So times 3 would give me 2 of them. Then 5's, you have 0 and 1. So we want them both to have 1. So this is the one that didn't have any. So you times 5 times 5. Now circle one of your bottoms. Then 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 3 times 3 times 5. 1,440. Okay. Now if you're second guessing and times the other one, make sure it matches. Yep. So the common denominator is 1,440. Okay, now you're going to do some algebra expressions with LCDs, okay? Now, this is what you're going to do. First off, you're going to make these plus lines so they're wider, and you're just going to drop what you have down, okay? You're going to need room. Just copy it down. Now, CD. You don't need to find the LCD, just a CD will do good. Common denominator. Now put multiplication dots, 24 and x, then a second power, 8 and x in the parentheses. Okay. Now, so on the bottom you have 24. Don't write x second. Okay. If it's an x not in parentheses, okay, it doesn't matter what power to, but if it's not in parentheses, I call that outer x. Now you have 8. You have another x not in parentheses, so that's in the outer x category, which I've already written, and you have x minus 2. Okay, the parentheses of x minus 2, put that. Parentheses and outer x's are not the same thing. So 24, you got 1 and 0. So we need 1, so we have 1 here. And it doesn't matter where you times it, okay, just wherever you have room. Outer x, now if it's x second, that stands for 2. Just an outer x, don't count that one, that's in parentheses. Outer x without a power is 1. Well, we need them both to have 2. So I have an outer x here already. To make it into 2, I just put x second, and then that means you times x on top. 8, you have 0 and 1, okay? So we want them both to have 1. So I take this times 8 times 8. Okay, the parentheses x minus 2, I have 0 and 1. So we need them both to have 1. So I go to where I didn't have any and put x minus 2. Put it on top. Now here's how you do your CD. Just do it from here. Okay. You put your x, you circle one of your bottoms. It doesn't matter which one. The parentheses stays separate. Okay. Then you multiply the 24 by the 8. That's 192. And then you put your x to the second power after it. And that's your common denominator. Okay, next one, CD. First, make these so they're wider, because you're going to have to add some things in here. And it looks like crap if it's all crunched together. Okay, so 3 times x times x minus 2. So in the denominators I have 3. I have outer x. I have outer x again, which I already have accounted for, and then x minus 2. So 3, you have 1 and 0. So we need them both to have 1. So it doesn't matter where you times it. Okay, outer x, I have 1 and 1, so that's good. But the parentheses x minus 2, I have 0 and 1. Okay? So we need them both to have 1. Now we're good. Remember to bring it on top. So circle one of the bottoms. So you got your x minus 2, and then 3 times x is just 3x. So that's your common denominator. Okay, next one. If you have a minus or plus, you put a parentheses around it, similar to how if you were factoring. Okay, so common denominator, you have a parentheses of x minus 2, another one, and then x minus 5. So parentheses x minus 2, I have 1, 1, that's good. X minus 5, I have 0, 1. Okay, so we need them both to have 1. Okay, so go here and bring in your x minus 5, then you also have to bring that to the, whoops, I didn't space it, my bad. Don't worry about that, I forgot. I can just go from here. So my common denominator, I circle one of the bottoms, okay, and it'd be x minus 2 in parentheses and x minus 5. That doesn't have any outer things, okay, so there's your common denominator. Okay, now I'll remember to draw the lines. Okay, so 3, 10x, 2x, and 5. Okay, so to put the operators in, and then a 5. So you have a 10, an outer x, and then a 5. Okay, so 10, I have 1, 0. So I need them both to have 1. Okay, so that has 110. This one needs one. Okay. Outer x, we have 1. This don't count, it's on top. You have 0 on bottom. Okay, so 1. They each need 1. So that already has 1. This needs another one. Now, if there's already an x there, instead of writing times x, I would just put that to the second. Okay, and then 5, 0, 1. So we want 1. Okay, so where there's 0, I put times 5 times 5. Now circle one of your bottoms. It doesn't matter which one. If you just want to do the first one every time, that's fine. 10 times 5 is 50. Okay, 50x. Okay, next page. This should say plus. Remember, minuses and pluses you put in parentheses when trying to find a common denominator. Those get parenthesized on a minus plus. Okay, so you have 2, and then the x minus 3. You have 3, and then 2x plus 3. Okay. All right, CD, common denominator. So you've got x minus 3 in parentheses, and then a 2x plus 3 in parentheses. Okay, so x minus 3, I have 1, 0. So we need them both to have 1. So we already got the 1 there, and then x minus 3, x minus 3. How about 2x plus 3? 0, 1. Okay? So you need them both to have 1. So I do not have the 1 here, so I bring it in, and you also got to bring it to the top. Okay? Now circle one of your bottoms, and that's your common denominator. X minus 3 and 2x plus 3. Okay, CD. First extend the lines. 9, 2x, and then 10, and then 2 times x plus 3, right, kind of small. Okay, so operators, 2 times x and 2 times, and then the parentheses. So you have 2 outer x, and then x plus 3 in parentheses. Outer x and x's in parentheses are not the same thing. So 2, you have 1, 1, so that's good. You're good. Outer x, you have 1, and then 0. That doesn't count. Okay. Okay, so I need to bring a 1 of these. So that already has the 1 outer x. This needs 1 to match it. Okay. X plus 3, I have 0 and 1. Okay, so this doesn't have it. Need 1 to match it. Okay, so x plus 3, x plus 3. Okay, circle one of your bottoms. Doesn't matter which one. Okay, you got x plus 3, and then 2 times x is just 2x. Okay, common denominator. 3 times x to the second, and 6 times x minus 4. First space it out so you can put things in. Okay, 7, because otherwise it gets clumped up and you can't see what you're doing. Put the times dots in. So you have 3. Don't write x second. That's an outer x factor. 2 of them actually. Then 6. And then the quantity, parentheses, of x minus 4. Okay, so we got 3, you got 1, 0. So you get them both to 1. So you have your 1 there, just times 3 times 3. Outer x, you have 2 and 0. Remember, x in parentheses is not an outer x, so you need 2. Okay? Now, if you're bringing in 2, you already have your 2 there, okay? If you need to bring in 2 outer x's, just bring in an x to the second, okay? Because that's an outer x. Rather than write times x, okay? It's just x second, and you do the same thing there. 6, you have 0 and 1. Okay, so you have to get to 1, and it would be done right there. Okay, x minus 4, I have 0, 1. Okay, so we take it to 1. We already have it there, so I come over here and make the adjustment. There you go. Now, you have in the common denominator, you know you got a parentheses x minus 4. You don't do anything with that. Then you take the 3 times the 6 to get 18, and then x second. Okay, next. 12, and then 3x. 14, and then 3x, and x plus 2. Now put in the multiplication operators. So your common denominator, you have 3, you have x, outer x, variables not in parentheses, you call them outer. 3 I already have, outer x I've already have, then the x plus 2 in parentheses, which is not an outer x, it's its own column. So 3, 1 and 1. So you're good. Outer x, 1 and 1. So we're good there. But about that parentheses, you have 0 and 1. So you have to get them so that they match into 1. So this is where I'd adjust. Then you're good. Okay, circle. So you have x plus 2, CD, and then outside you just have 3x. Okay, and then the last one. Extend those lines so they're bigger, so you got a 5, and then write kind of small. You're just copying the problem, but you're leaving more space. Okay, so CD. So you have 2x plus 5, 2x minus 5, which is not the same as 2x plus 5. 2x plus 5 I've already got, and then x minus 3. Okay, so 2x plus 5, 1, 1. So they already match in those factors. 2x minus 5, 1. And then 0. So we want to match, we want 1. Okay, so 2x minus 5, we already have 1 here. We got to make it so this one has 1. This is the one we adjust. You always adjust the one that doesn't have what you're looking for. Okay, and then x minus 3, 0, 1. Okay, so go to the 0 and adjust it. Okay. Okay, now they match perfectly, so the common denominator, circle one of them. It's all parentheses, so 2x plus 5, 2x minus 5, and x minus 3.